Game Over 86 coming back with another video, and today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to be talking about my love, my passion about the upcoming Sega Genesis mini console coming September 19th, 2019 here in the States for $79.99. I just want to show you guys a picture, and I'm going to be real with you 100%. This thing is old. This thing has been through a lot of time. I can tell you right now, this thing is old. And I want to tell you guys something awesome about this. That is my legitimate. I did this in a some of my my prized possessions. No, it's not an expensive thing to find. No, it's not rare. No, it's not hard or very collectible or very valuable. It was just actually one of my rare possessions because it was my first generational console that my parents bought me for Christmas. That's the legit box that me and my brother opened up on Christmas Day back in the 90s. And it was awesome. Yes, we had an NES, but it was from my stepdad. He brought it in with the family. I never actually got to open up the brand new NES. So this was my first console I opened. Very excited to talk to you guys about what everybody else has probably talked about already and beaten to a dead bush. But I want to give you guys my passion and my love because I know a lot of people out there enjoy coming to my channel and watching and listening to what I have to say. There's some features in here that I think are just top notch, and Sega always to me has provided quality, just like Nintendo. With literally their seal of quality approval, the Sega Genesis brand, you knew you were getting a great product. You knew that Sega was putting their passion, their time for the fans. And back in the day, man, that's what it was about. Sega really took it to Nintendo. Sega does what Nintendo don't. They really took it to them. They were bringing really innovative, very edgy time at the time. Graphics, you were talking blood, you were talking, older style games for teenagers. And you know what? Growing up through Sega, I looked at the Nintendo as, they had some great games. Don't get me wrong, I love Nintendo, but I seen Sega and I was like, man, they're bringing Mortal Kombat's with the blood. They're bringing Sonic, new characters that we were learning. I mean, who didn't love Sonic? Who didn't love Streets of Rage franchise or Final Fight and all these other great games that are coming to the console? I mean, you want to talk about an unbelievable franchise that made, and still to this day, makes unbelievable games at an affordable price. They're never staying around $60, but they always bring great quality to your Yakuza series, to the new game coming out called, I believe it's called Judgment. I think them are going to be some bigger games. Sega has been known to always make great games and to be personal with their consumers, their fan base. They've always reached out to people. Nintendo, to me, of the old school Nintendo, is where I love Nintendo. The new style of Nintendo seem to me like I don't. The old Sega, to me, is still the old Sega because they quit making consoles after the Dreamcast. And to me, it's just awesome because this is technically, and I want to show you guys something. So let's go ahead and check into it real quick. So here we have the Sega Genesis Mega Drive, and if you guys never grew up with this console was literally 16 bits at its best. It was competing, literally the Master System was the equivalent to, the NES and then the Super Nintendo. They really had to bring it. And I had the Genesis version. I never did have the Mega Drive version, but I did actually enjoy every games that they had on there. A lot of great franchises, but let's go ahead and talk about it. You get the miniature Sega Genesis, as it says here, replica. You get including 40 legendary games. We've only heard 10 so far as of shooting this video. So if you guys are watching this later on, they may have already released the games. It's in a ready to plug and play, and there are a lot of plug and play games and consoles that have been famous. Obviously, At Games used to do a lot of the Sega Genesis consoles, and that fell through. I knew that they did a horrible job with their clone consoles, and it didn't get a lot of great praise. The video quality, the sound quality just wasn't to that Sega Genesis brand, in my opinion, as well. But it's awesome to see. They're bringing back the classic red button or red lettering, 3-button controller, and I actually do own some of these controllers. Amazing quality, amazing build. They were comfortable too. A lot of people are saying, the US versions it's going to come $79.99. You get the 2 controllers. Over in Japan, you're going to get to choose between a 1 controller or a 2 controller, and it comes with the 6-button layout. Now, I believe honestly that Retrobit just remade some Sega brands with the USBs on there, and you can buy them also without the USBs, but this one's going to need a USB if you want. But they have 6-button layout controllers that you can order through Castlemania Games, or even I believe Castlemania Games is the only place where I've seen it now because Amazon canceled my order for some odd reason. I don't know. They're probably giving them too much away for free to all these other YouTubers, and then I actually want to pay for them, and then they don't even give them to me. They emailed me and canceled them. and that's kind of sad. So I'm going to buy everything through Castlemania Games. I told him that on Twitter recently. So if you want to go there, check out his stuff as well. To get the 6-button controller USB port, just make sure you look down there, because it does state if it's the original cord that plugs into your original Sega Genesis, or it's the USB one that you could plug into your PC. And I don't see why it wouldn't plug in there. I can't confirm that it'll work, but you know there'll be updates. You know the old retro community out there, they will definitely be updating this stuff, modding it, all that other stuff, hacking it, adding ROMs to it. I'm sure there'll be people that will be going crazy for it. But you do get a Genesis mini console. Obviously, you get the 2-wire controller pads. You get a USB power adapter, which is always nice, power cable, and an HDMI cable, which is cool. Now, the great thing about this is, I believe, honestly, for the 2 controllers, and you're getting 40 games, and we've already seen 10 of them, which we will go through here in a second. I honestly think that's a great value. $79.99 is around that price range. If you think about it, the Super Nintendo was that price range, the Mini Classic, and you got you know, a good amount of games. As you guys can see back here, I have these classics just sitting back here. I know they're kind of hidden behind the new mic stand, which I had to get, guys, by the way. I don't know if you guys noticed this in the other video. I just had to get something more solid that would stick to my desk. The other one was starting to fall apart. So this is a really good thing. I'm glad I updated that. I'm sorry to jump, but let me get back to it. It's just awesome to see these consoles being created again. And you know what? This is a huge thing, because Sega hasn't, you know, it got out of the console business after the Dreamcast. They strictly are just pretty much just multi-plat developing games. You know, they make unbelievable Sega games still to this day, and they're still releasing other great games that are coming later on this year, with even Mario, and Sonic has got another one with the Olympic games and whatnot. There's just so many great quality things I can say about Sega, just like Nintendo back in the day. But to get on with the Sega, let's go ahead and talk about some of the games. And if you guys are fans of Sega, please let me know down in the comments. At the end of the video, I want you guys to let me know what was your favorite Sega Genesis growing up, and what was your favorite, or I say what was your favorite Sega Genesis growing up. That's funny. What was your Sega console growing up, and what was your favorite game growing up? And I'll let you guys know at the end of the video what was my favorite console growing up. So you got Echo the Dolphin. If you guys can see, I played that game religiously, even Echo the Dolphin Jr. 2. Castlevania Bloodlines didn't ever come, I believe, to the States, so that would be awesome. I hope this game comes with the US version. If not, I'm gonna have to double dip and get the Japan version. You got Space Harrier 2, which is another great style pretty much game where it comes to strategy. You got Shining Force, which you guys can see, Dr. Robotnik's, which is kind of like a Tetris style game, or Dr. Mario game, but Sonic did. Toe Jam and Earl just got released on physical edition from Limited Run Games. And there's so many great games. Comic Zone's a hidden gem. You can buy that on Xbox Store right now. Obviously, the thing that started it all for Sega was Sonic. You got Altered Beast, which is a badass arcade that turned into an awesome cartridge-based game on the console. You got Gunstar Heroes. So the first 10 games that are already released has got me jacked already. Now, I'm not going to say these 10 games alone with the two controllers would be worth 80. But I'm telling you right now, if you see these 10 games right now, you can only imagine and bet that they're going to put the other 30 are going to be some great games. I hope they're not just some garbage thrown in games to where you feel like, you know, because we all know the Atari Flashback threw in some kind of, you know, you got all the Mortal Kombats, and I get Streets of Rage, but like they threw in all these games, and it just always felt like there was some filler in there that just some people just didn't play some of them games. Now, I'm not saying they didn't play Mortal Kombat or Streets of Rage, but there were other games in there that people were just like, I'm never going to play this game. It was like filler, in my opinion. You know, you get 80 games, but, you know, 10 of them were worth it. So it's cool to see. It's cool to see Sega really opening up again, and they were ahead of their time. I've always said, you want to talk about innovation, and a lot of people bring up Nintendo now. You know, back in the day, Sega was innovative. I mean, they brought a CD-based console when like nobody was ever doing that. They brought multiple adapters and add-ons to where you could play old school games. Technically, like the Master System, you would have an add-on to the Mega Drive that you could play them games. They also had other adapters that would lock in when it comes to the Sega 32X. They made Sega Saturn. Yes, a lot of the things were bad marketing, and you know, Sega of Japan and Sega of America were at each other's throats, not even working together, talking and communicating together, which I think was their obvious downfall. And the other thing of their downfall in the console world, in my opinion, was they were just ahead of their time. ahead of their time. If you look at the Dreamcast, if that thing would have came out with a DVD player a year before the PlayStation 2, I think it would have been, they would have still been around, in my opinion. I think it would have blew the doors off. They were just a year too early, but they had features in there that just were unheard of, you know, with you talk about the Ethernet port. I mean, you talk about the memory cards that slid in, the screens on there. Everything was awesome. The way the joysticks were built, the arcade quality games that Sega brought. It's just unique and cool to see that 20 years later, after they brought the Dreamcast, they're bringing back the classic consoles that made them who they are, a household name in my opinion. And I think the Genesis and the Mega Drive were I believe the biggest consoles for Sega. Now, I know a lot of people will sit there and say the Dreamcast, but when it comes to sales or popularity or even the Master System, I still think the Genesis and the Mega Drive or whatever, they're both pretty much the same. They were the top dogs. They were the two best consoles that they created. A lot of people say CD or 32X. They're just not. They didn't have a lot of love when it came to games or quality, in my opinion, when it came to the Genesis. Nothing compared to that as a kid growing up in the early 90s all the way through. And it's just cool to see. So I'm just going to see what you guys think, though. I know a lot of people have already done videos on this. I know I don't do videos 30 minutes after everybody just goes off, you know, and whatnot. But it was early in the morning, and my equipment's all in my room where my wife and I sleep. So it's not like I can just come in here at 2 in the morning and wake her up. So a lot of these videos I like to do and put a lot of passion and time and just talk to you guys personally. I hope I'm building a personal connection with somebody out there that really does enjoy my quality content. It's not the best, you know, I ain't Casey Neistat. I ain't got 13 cameras or drones and all this other stuff that can capture all kinds of crazy gameplay footage. I ain't got all the money just to throw at it. But you know what I do have? I have love. I have passion for what I like to do. Like I said, I'm not always going to do like what everybody's talking about. I do know everybody's talking about this video, but I'm not going to do whatever's just getting clicks and views or the algorithm chaser. I'm going to do stuff that I just love and I'm passionate about. And the Sega Genesis, guys, like I said, I want to know what you guys think. And I'm going to ask the question again. What was your favorite console from the Sega brand growing up, if you grew up with it? And what was your favorite game on that console? So let me know down in the comments. My favorite console, obviously, is the Sega Genesis growing up out of the Sega brand. And my favorite game, obviously, and it's a no-brainer, was Streets of Rage 2 and Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And there were some other great games that kind of got filtered in there between, but them were my top 2 games that I played. A lot of other great games that came were Disney games like Toy Story and Aladdin, and you even talk about Jurassic Park at the time. To me, there were some fun games. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think of the video. Obviously, I love you very much, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. I hope you guys are enjoying gaming as much as I am. And if you guys want to pre-order this stuff, I will leave a link to Amazon. And there's also, just for disclaimer, if you use it, I do get a small commission. For disclaimer purposes, I want to let you guys know that. But also, you don't have to use that link. If you want to pre-order it somewhere else, you can go to Walmart and I think GameStop as well. But note that I think Amazon and GameStop, if you pre-order it through them, they don't charge you until it's being released or a couple of days before it gets released. So that's always a good thing. So if you don't have a lot of money right now, or you don't have 80 bucks to spend, you want to pre-order and get it sealed up, because I think these things are going to sell like hotcakes. I swear, man, I'm telling you, I can see the Super NES or NES Classic all over again. I hope Sega makes enough of these for people. But if you guys want to get your pre-orders in, I will leave a link down there in the description box below. Just let me know, though, if you guys are down and what you guys are really excited for game-wise, looking forward to playing on the Sega Mini Classic. I will see you guys on the next video. I love you very much. And I've always told everybody out there that I want you guys to do a good deed, help somebody out. And I really do appreciate that. I really do mean that. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys on the next video. Sega, baby, it's coming. Sega! I'll see you guys on the next video. I love you. Peace.